Good day, students. This is your favorite tutor. In our last video, I was talking about introduction to physics, and I remember I did say that physics was actually derived from a Latin word called physica, and I gave the definition of physics. Then I talked about the branches, I talked about the importance, and I also talked about the prospects. In our video today, or in our lesson today, in our class today, we're looking at something, a continuation from the previous class, and that's physical quantities. You may want to ask, physics deals with measurements, units, and the rest of them. That's why we don't joke with units of a particular quantity in physics. If you are solving, let's say pressure, you should be able to know that by the time you are done solving, the unit is going to be Newton per meter square. If you put something else there, then whoever is marking your scripts will definitely mark you down, because we don't joke with units or quantity in physics. And so you may want to ask now, what then is physical quantities? Now, physical quantities are quantities that can be quantified. That may sound too high. That can be quantified, or you can say systems that can be measured. By numbers. So that's what we call physical quantities. They are systems that can be measured or they can be quantified by numbers. And we have two major types of physical quantity. There are just two types. And the two types are fundamental types of physical quantity. Number one is fundamental quantity. Fundamental. Number two, we have what we call derived. The first one is fundamental. The second one is derived quantities. So we have fundamental and derived quantity. Obviously, we have fundamental units and we also have derived units. Okay? Now, looking at fundamental, from the word fundamental, it means basic. It means something that is basic. Okay? That's what we mean when we talk about fundamental. What then are fundamental quantities? Fundamental quantities are quantities that are independent of others. They cannot be gotten from others, nor derived from them. So fundamental quantities are quantities that are independent of others. They cannot be gotten from others nor derived from them. That's what we call fundamental quantities. Now, if you look at what I've just done now, you will see clearly that what are these quantities? If they are basic, they are also called basic quantities. Fundamental quantities are called basic quantity. Basic, I mean basic as in the sense of basic. Okay, there are 7 of them. 7 fundamental quantities. 7. 7 fundamental quantities. Sorry. And this includes 1. We have mass. 2. Length. 3. After we have this, and then we have time. 4. We have amount of substance. Amount of substance. 5. Current. 6. We have luminous intensity. And of course 7, we have temperature. Now you can see clearly here that there are 7 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 of them all over the world. Whether you're studying in Nigeria or outside the country, is going to be 7. So these are called quantity. These are called fundamental quantity. And so we represent it. We're still coming back to what we call dimension later. But in case to save our time, the unit of mass is called kilogram. The unit of length is called meter. The unit of time, of course, we all know that seconds. The unit of amount of substance is called mole. M-O-L-E. The unit of current is referred to as ampere. The unit of luminous intensity, we call it candela. And of course, temperature is Kelvin. And so the symbol here is kg. The symbol here is mx. The symbol for ampere, for amount of substance here is, we normally use capital N in chemistry. Okay, but in this case, to abbreviate it, we have MOL. And then that of ampere, we use A, capital A. And that of candela is CD. That's the symbol. CD. Please do not forget that. And of course, here we use K. So this is for fundamental. Before I close the class, let me quickly go through the derived quantity. The derived quantity. Having known the fundamental, it is important you know that of derived quantity. So let's look at derived quantity very quickly. Derived quantity, derived quantities are quantities which are gotten from fundamental. In other words, derived quantities depends on fundamental quantities. So you can see now from the word derived, they are derived from fundamental. And we have a wide range of these derived quantity. We have a wide range of them. There are so many. Let me start calling them: your area, your volume, your density, your moment, your pressure, your force, your acceleration, and so on. they are all referred to as derived. So let me give you just a few examples. So we have derived quantity here. And then here we have their derivation. And then here we could just write their units. Okay, so let's look at it. Area, for example. Area is what? Length times what? Breadth. So length times breadth. What do you have? What's the unit of length? Meter. What's the unit of breadth? Meter. And we have meter squared. That's what you have there. That's simple, right? Very simple. Let's come to volume. Volume is length times breadth times what? Height. The unit of this is meter. Meter. So what do you have there? You have cube. Let's go to density. What again is called density? Density is what? Mass over volume. And so what's the unit of mass? Kilogram. And what's the unit of volume? We just did that now. Cube. And so we have kilogram per meter cube. Let me do velocity quickly. Velocity is what we call displacement over time. Displacement is a vector quantity. Of course, the unit is meter, and this unit is second. So you have meter per second to the velocity. And so we can have it like that, like that, like that. And let me do one more. So let me do something like work. In physics, what is work? Work is force. Or let me do force. What is force in physics? Force is mass times acceleration. And so our acceleration, mass is kilogram, multiplied by acceleration. Acceleration is meter per second square. And so you have it now to be this. So you'll be seeing more of this being done. I can keep showing you like that as you move down. Maybe I should do one more, like walk. Let me touch walk. Walk is force times distance. So you have force. We have gotten force already here. And that is what we have here. Multiplied by distance, which is meter. And so what will you be having there? You have kilogram, this times this, meter square and second square. That's what you have. Okay? So you can see that we have looked at quantity. And we said physical quantities are things that can be measured or quantified by numbers. And then we said there are two types of them, fundamental and derived. And from there, after giving the two types of quantities or physical quantities, we explained the fundamental. We gave the 7 fundamental quantities. We also looked at the derived quantities. We explained the 7 derived quantities, the 7 fundamental quantities rather. And then we also looked at some few derived quantities. There are so many derived quantities, okay? And in case you're having any question on what I've done so far on the first video and even this one, you can drop it in the comment section. Till I come your way again. Bye.